तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति। We worship Krishna more in terms of a child. Krishna's worship as a child has a great reach. We worship Ganesha as child, Skanda child. Of all the avatars, Rama as a child is not worshipped. Wherever you see Rama statues or paintings, all the devotees of Rama, somehow we think, Rama has already grown up. Straight away we take Rama to be an adult, middle age. Adult not in the sense of even 20, 24. Straight away we take him to be like, a fully grown up man. And no other avatar has that child. Only Krishna avatar has the child appeal. Even if you see the Bhagavatam gives a detailed account of his childhood, what we call as Bala Leela. And lot of devotees have taken Krishna as a child, assumed Krishna to be their child, and treat him and relate to him. And our other two gods, they never grow up. Ganesha and Subramanya you take, or Lord Ayyappa you take, all those people, all child only. It's very unique to this system where we take God, the form of a child, and relate. Why is because it is very easy to relate to a child. To relate to an adult is far more complex. It is not easy. You can't relate to an adult so easily because of lot of inhibitions we will have. Whereas a child has no inhibitions. And it is so smooth and it is so direct and easy for us to relate. That is why we worship Krishna as a child. Even though he is adult Krishna is such a complex personality, but a tremendous appeal is there. Krishna as a child. A lot of other gods, as I said, we take them as child. Even Parvati is worshipped as child. So every god and goddess, see, we have treated a lot of them as this. There are texts like Meenakshi, for example, has this. treat her as a child and put her to sleep. Like how you put a child to sleep. Like that they put this things to sleep. You know, Krishna was put to sleep a lot of time by a lot of people. Rama has only one thing, waking up. That's what every time you will hear. Kausalya, Supraja, Rama, Purva, Sandhya, Pravartate, Uttishta, Narsadula, and all that you will hear. Any time you go to Tirupati, they'll give that. Right? That was supposed to be, is the way Vishwamitra is supposed to have woken up Rama and Lakshmana. And he took them to protect his yajna. They started walking first day. They are never used to walking. Wherever they go, they have a car and driver. So royal kids. So they have never walked. So suddenly they have to go walking behind a fellow like Vishwamitra, and to the pace in which Vishwamitra walks, these two fellows were not able to walk into that space, they say. They are so tired by the night, they fall off to sleep. And Vishwamitra wakes up early. Obviously, he, old man, can't sleep, so he wakes up early. And these two kids, teenage fellows, are sleeping there. He's 14, these two kids are 14-year-old. Now when they're sleeping, and Vishwamitra looks at them and he has to wake them up. And what we have to understand is, these two kids have never slept in the jungle. Right? They have already gone into the forest, deep into the forest already. And in the jungle they are sleeping, and Vishwamitra doesn't know how they were woken up in their palace. Who will go and wake them up? How they were woken up? Tremendous confusion. And suppose if he goes and says, wake up. If these two kids get scared, what to do? Right? That is why first thing he tells is Kausalya. The moment he hears the mother's name, comfort. That is why he calls him first, he utters Kausalya, Supraja, Rama. Very interesting construction of that. Krishna has difficult to put Krishna to sleep. This fellow is so dynamic, the child is. So engaging. Rama's childhood is so streamlined. There's nothing exciting. During Rama's childhood, there's nothing interesting, nothing exciting. Whereas Krishna's childhood is the one which is spoken of a lot. Even the birth is such a dramatic one for Krishna. Rama's birth is not so dramatic. They just perform on yajna. At the end of yajna, he gets this prasad. The prasad is distributed to these three, wives of the Asarada, and then they get conceived and then they deliver. Quite normal. But Krishna's birth was not like that. On the day of marriage itself, there was a problem for Vasudeva and Devaki. And now, as I mentioned earlier, we always read these masters' life, these great personalities' life, regressive. We never read along. After Krishna has become Krishna, we go back and try to understand the meaning behind everything. And the very birth of Krishna has a tremendous meaning and a tremendous appeal. And every aspect of Krishna's life triggers a tremendous meaning and a good amount of devotion. Unless there is that devotion kindling, there is no, it's not interesting. Now you will see that. I'll just give you the meaning. Many a times we will find it, are you not far stretching? Many times it will appear as though somehow we are trying to give a meaning to that. I'll give an example for that. First one, the very birth. If you take the very birth of Krishna, you see, Vasudeva married to Devaki, and one Ashiriri told, eighth son of Devaki is going to be the Yama for this fellow, Kamsa. And Kamsa puts these two in jail. And first 6 kids were born. Vasudeva faithfully takes the child and goes and gives to Kamsa, and Kamsa kills it. Kills every one of them. 6 kids happened like that. 7th child was taken from the womb of Devaki and transported to the first wife of Vasudeva. Vasudeva had 2 wives. Second is Devaki. The first one is Rohini. Rohini is the first wife. That Rohini is the one who is living in Gokula with under the protection of Nanda. She is living with there. So the womb is taken. The child is taken from the womb of Devaki and transferred to Rohini. I'm just telling the story, right? So look at, so many things happens. Then information goes to Kamsa that Devaki got conceived, the 7th one, but the child didn't stay. There is a miscarriage. He says, okay, fine, doesn't matter. Then what happened? Then this child is this, the 7th child is Balarama. Balarama is another avatar. Who is avatar of? Also he is Adisesha. Adisesha is born as Balarama there. 7th child. Then the 8th child is conceived. And the 8th child is born. As soon as he is born, Krishna is not staying there with Vasudeva and Devaki. Immediately he instructs them to be taken and brought to Nanda's house, cross the river, and then all the drama. Everybody falls off to sleep as soon as Krishna is born. Everybody falls off to sleep. All the gods, everyone is slept. And Vasudeva quietly carries the child from the prison, escapes, takes this child, leaves the child with the wife of Nanda, Yashoda. Okay? Then takes that child, because that is the instruction given by just born Krishna. The child is born. As soon as Krishna is born, he starts giving instructions. Look here, take me, leave me there, and bring that child. He says, hey, I can take you and leave there. Now, why I should bring that child and bring here is another issue. He could have left the child and come and say, Again, this is a miscarriage. Problem solved, actually. Problem would have been resolved by then. Then 8th child is dead now. Now the 9th and 10th, he is not worried. Kamsa is worried only about the 8th. 8 is gone means the Ashriri is wrong. So there is a good chance for them to escape. But that's not what Krishna's instruction is. Instruction is very clear. He says, take me, leave there, and bring what is there here. Change. Then Kamsa comes. That's a girl child. Vaishnavi Devi. That's the Vaishnavi. Durga. Girl child. He looks at her and says, I thought a boy will be born. Suddenly he is a girl child. He says. And the girl child escapes from his hands and takes the form of Maya. And says, the one who is supposed to kill you is already born. He will come and destroy you. I don't have to do my job. That is his job. And she leaves. This is the birth. Right. In a nutshell. Without, giving all the details and all this. Now, just that story itself is so engaging. So dramatic. So much of drama around Krishna's birth. This triggers what? That is the beauty here. Now, why there is so much of dramatic story being presented about Krishna? Assuming it is just a story, okay? I'm not saying Krishna is a historical figure or anything. Assuming he is only a mythological figure also. It is of no concern to me. Because even if I say Krishna is real, actually happened, no way I can prove it. And the person who says Krishna did not happen also has no arguments to support. He can't prove Krishna did not happen. Because immediately I will go to archaeological one, this one, that one, and all those things. Very many ways of proving it. Scientific proofs need not be always with reference to what you see. Remember, there are many ways they get the proof. We don't go into that. The story itself gives us a what? When you see such dramatic events happening, and then there is a torrential rain, and in the rain he has to cross that Yamuna river. The Yamuna river, how he is going to cross? And he goes and Vasudeva takes Krishna, the child, on a basket. So he can't hold him near the chest. So the water is racing. So he is holding him on his head. You would have seen Bahubali, no? One. Bahubali, pathingla? Not the full movie you have to watch, just the poster. The poster itself is what? A hand holding a baby beyond, just above the level of water. Such a, fantastic poster. Just the poster for the movie. See, what is this? It's like dramatic one. And suddenly, one hooded snake comes and protects the child from the rain. And almost Vasudeva also going to drown like that. He goes down, actually. And then what happens now? Krishna's leg touches the river. And the river parts. It gives way to Vasudeva to cross. Quietly he crosses and walks through the other side. And surprisingly, in Nanda's house also everybody is sleeping. And Yashoda, who has given birth to the child, is also fast asleep. And this man walks into the house. I don't know how he entered the house. Automatically, door opened perhaps. He entered the house. He is taking that child and he is replacing this child and he is coming back. Oh, so much of drama. All this while, even the guards are all sleeping, nobody is seeing how he smuggled Krishna from this place and how he brought that girl here is a drama. In this drama, we see after Krishna, we are going back and seeing all this. Oh, this is how Krishna was born, is it? My God. If a personality, an avatar like Krishna has to happen, it cannot be just a meaningless events like this. It's not just the drama we are talking about. There is some deep-rooted meaning to it in every aspect of it. What is that? Krishna is taken always as God, Brahman, Paramatma. Right? That Brahman, which is inconceivable, comes to our level of conceivable, relatable Krishna. Krishna in Vaikuntha we can't understand. That's why there's a good one they say that we call this Padapatra Sai. Krishna in that leaf. You've seen Balakrishna, you would have seen the paintings. Padapatra Sai is called as. Padapatra is that banyan tree, leaf. On the leaf, Krishna is lying there. And what is he doing there? And who is that Krishna? Fantastic picturization of that Krishna. Visualization of these people. See, the story is different there. You see, but the visualization is fascinating there. Krishna is floating in the Pralaya water, not a river. It is Pralaya, deluge. The whole earth is gone completely. Everything is submerged inside the water. And nothing is existing, only water. There, one leaf is floating. On that leaf, the child is lying there. Because that sage Markandeya, one who asked Krishna, people talk about something called Maya. People say Maya, Maya, Maya. What is that Maya? I want to understand. I want to know. I want to experience what is that Maya. I want to experience. Why do you want to know all this? You are already realized. Why do you want all this? Forget it. And that man insists. Markandeya Rishi, he insists that I want to know what is this Maya. That is the time suddenly Krishna gives him this experience. Suddenly he sees a tsunami, Markandeya, coming and devouring everything. And Markandeya is struggling in that water. And there is a tremendous force of that thing is moving in a direction. And he is sucked in the direction and thrown out. It's like, one hand it is being sucked, and the other side it is being blown away. It's going on like this. And this man could not understand why he is being, tossed up and down. And he sees at a distance a leaf. On that leaf, a child is floating. Child is sleeping. A child is playing, sort of, lying there. What is he doing? He is holding his toe, left toe, leg, big toe is sucking. That's the picture you would see. Fascinating picture.
Very famous picture.
Very popular one. Vadapatra Sai call it as. That child, that Krishna is known as Vadapatra Sai. I know why I went there now, suddenly. Maya, okay, yeah, Maya. Now the child Krishna, now what is happening in this is, he is tossed up and down, no, that blowing is the breathing of the child. The child will breathe in, no. When the child is breathing in, the whole thing is going inside. When the child is breathing out, the whole thing is thrown out. And where is it? Now it's lying there. And he says, please stop it. Now where he will stop? How can the child stop breathing? Fascinating scene. Now all this is a very interesting way of putting it across, but along with that they give a message also. There is a material in that. What is this? Of all the tree leaves, why they have to choose a peepal tree? Banyan tree. Why? There is a meaning for that. Then what is the child doing there now? What is the child doing? You have seen that every child has this tendency to suck their thumb. Every child has that tendency to do it. Why? But this child is not sucking its thumb, it is sucking its toe. Very, very rare to see that. But that too, which toe? Left toe. Why they kept it as a left toe? Then suddenly they go to a different frequency. Suddenly they say, of the toe, we say, why it is. In a human thing, now comes very many interpretations for us. Say, God is so keen to know, it seems. He says, every devotee comes and falls at his feet. See, every devotee, any devotee goes, no devotee goes and puts his hand around God. The moment they go, they see God, first thing they do is what? Namaskar only. They want to hold on to his feet only. Everyone is interested only in that feet. So, God wants to know what is so tasty about my feet. So they say, so the only way a child gets to know about a taste is what? How do you get the rasa? What is so captivating to all these people is my feet. What is in that feet which is so interesting? So he is taking and checking, it seems. Another man comes and says, no, not this reason. See, all of us have one stupid idea. What? The idea is, the head is superior, the feet is inferior. Why? It is low. I said, a high what? Because humans grow, vertical, no? So they said, this is high, this is low. So Krishna says what? There is no such thing called low or high. Therefore he is taking. Then why he is taking left, not right? Another fellow. Say, the child wants to extract the Amrita. This Amrita comes from where? Every human body has that Amrita flowing. An ounce of Amrita is there in, a drop of it is there in every human body. And that flow of Amrita happens through this particular Nadi called Chandra Nadi. There are two types of Nadis, Chandra Nadi and Surya Nadi. Because Chandra is the one who is supposed to be giving that Som. That is why all these, the farmers, they expose the seeds before they sow. Before they plant, they expose it to the full moon. They leave it out. Why not? The life juice comes from the moonlight only. Sunlight doesn't give it. It is the moonlight that gives, they say. 15th chapter of the Gita, he explains it. How the whole thing happens. The whole process he explains. How this is going from this light from the sun, how it comes to the moon, from moon, how it gets into the seeds, and then from the plants, how it gets into the human, and in human, how it transforms. The whole cycle he explains in the 15th chapter. What is there as the moonlight is there corresponding in the body. Now the one who has the ability to balance that will be able to get it. So that Chandra Nadi flows through the left, Surya Nadi flows through the right, according to the Yoga Shastra. There. So Krishna wants to extract that Amrita. Therefore, what he is doing, he is taking and sucking the left toe. Now, just one simple picturization. From that picturization, we have very many interpretations. Same way, the events of Krishna's life has a thing. But sometimes it may appear to us that we are overstretching. But sometimes it fits in. Now, you cannot say it is not fitting in, because it fits in. Like Krishna's birth itself fits in so beautifully. This is what I was explaining. Krishna's birth fits in. Fantastic. What is it? This Vasudeva and Devaki. The Jiva were under the captivation of Vasudeva is supposed to be a very poised, rational person. You can take it as Vasudeva is and Devaki represent an individual, Jiva. These Jivas were captured and put in the prison. The prison of Samsara. In the prison of Samsara, the first 6 child were born. When there is a sort of good, quote unquote, okay? Devaki is also a good person. Vasudeva also is a good person, very poised, very ethical, right? Very righteous man. A reasonably good mind and good intellect is there. Both are good. But then the problem is what? They are stuck in samsara. And because of their genuinity, because of that goodness in you, certain things will emerge in you. Certain qualities will emerge in you. What are the qualities? There are 6 qualities that emerges. Like Vasudeva and Devaki got 6 kids. 6 qualities. The 6 qualities are what? Kshama, Dhamma, Titiksha, Shraddha, and Samadhana, and all that. There's 6 qualities. But the problem is what? This intellect is still under the captive of this ego, of what comes up, of the worldly things. Since it is concentrating there, it is emerging. As soon as it emerges, it goes and surrenders that to Kamsa. What is Kamsa going to do? Destroy all that. Kill all that. This is what is happening. What is happening in all our life is what? This. With so much of effort, we have become good. Out of this goodness in the world, in the prison of this world, in the prison of the samsara, we get little qualities of self-control and the mind control. Some control we get here and there. Then parati we get, withdrawal we get a little. Then titiksha we get a little. Shraddha we get a little. All this, samadhana we get a little. One by one we get little of all those things. Before it can, as soon as it is born, it just emerges. As soon as it emerges, what do? We go and surrender it to, we go and hand it over to Kamsa. When you go and give it to Kamsa, what he will do? Kill it. That is what is happening to all our life. Exactly what happened to Vasudeva and Devaki. Then the problem is what? Somehow the 7th child itself. Now you have to see what happened to the 7th child. The child is conceived, but the child is instantly transported to Rohini. Rohini, no? Correct. Rohini is another. Rohini. The first wife of Vasudeva. Where is Rohini living? Far away from us. Which means these two were in the captive. Rohini is living free. The freedom is there. You take it outside and keep. So these two were bound. They were stuck. They are inside the prison. Rohini is outside the prison. So the moment you start exercising, but the problem is what? This decision, this you cannot do. Vasudeva cannot do. Vasudeva is not the one who has taken the child from Devaki's womb to Rohini's womb. It's not done by him. Then who did that? Nobody knows who did it. It's not done by him, it is not done by her, it is not done by Rohini, it is not done by any human, it is done by the will of Ishvara. It is the will of God. What is that? There is, when you function like this, there will be a, as far as Devaki is concerned, Vasudeva is concerned, what is it? Miscarriage. Right? And Devaki says, I am happy. When there is a miscarriage, because they don't know that it is, that child is taken from her and planted there, they don't know about all that. Nobody knows. Right? So as far as they are concerned, what is it? It is a tragedy. It is a loss. But that loss was not treated by Devaki and Vasudeva as a loss. They said, good. That doesn't mean every time you go through a loss, don't keep saying it. Okay. That loss has happened to Vasudeva and Devaki. What is it? Some little effort they put in to bring the child. But then immediately has the weakness of surrendering to giving it to this. This is what Vasudeva was doing for the first 6. The 7th one was taken away from him and planted to this one. That is not done by Vasudeva. It is done by something beyond their conscious effort. And we see that happening in our life. Again, don't ask me to give a proof. If you see it, you see it. And what is interesting here, again it's proved by saying, if you see from the angle of Vasudeva and Devaki, they will not understand it. They don't know it. They will get to know it only when Krishna comes and kills Kamsa and releases Vasudeva and Devaki. That is the time he says, this is Balarama, the son of Rohini. So, how she got it? This is how it happened. Oh, they get to know after 10 years or maybe 11 years. See, so there is a gap. Till that time, they were thinking the 7th child is lost. Actually, he is not lost. He is growing there much better. What is that? The shift happens from the captured to activating something which is outside. What is that? The activation of your free will. What we call as Purushartha. That Purushartha, which is part of him, but it is not within here, it is outside. So that Purushartha gets activated there. So when Purushartha gets activated, then what happens? A child Krishna is born. And they say, what is that? Our fellow gave a beautiful interpretation. Why is Balarama born first? Who is Balarama? Balarama is Adishesha, no? Samsara, Adishesha. Who is Adishesha? Adishesha is the bed for Krishna, for Vishnu. Vishnu's bed is. He is sleeping, no, in that milky ocean in Vaikuntha. He is sleeping, there is a snake. That is Adishesha. That Adishesha is this Balarama. Why in that? Every time when you are going to have a very important guest comes, what do we do? What do we prepare? First thing we prepare is what? Change the bed sheet, change the pillowcase, prepare the room clear, keep everything ready, all that. No, that is why he came. So before Krishna could come, his bed has arrived. I say, correct. Makes sense, I say. So that is why he has come first. So interesting. Now this appearance of Krishna's birth will happen after your self-effort is activated. Till then, the spiritual growth or spiritual knowledge cannot dawn on you. But can you say that I am going to activate it? Not possible. You cannot activate it. Why? You are already in the clutches of, you are in the prison. This is where devotion comes into picture. Why we say surrender, devotion needed? What is this surrender and devotion? The surrender and devotion is not saying, God, come and help me. It is the frustration with which you live in the present. Like how Sita lived in Ashoka. How Bharata lived in that 14 years. Nandigram, that's the village. He didn't even enter city Ayodhya. He was staying outskirts. Exactly same thing. But some of these people say Bharata is superior to Sita. Why not? Because Bharata did not enter the Ayodhya for 14 years. Whereas for Sita it is only 10 years. I'm sorry, 10 months. It's only 10 months. No, but Bharata was 14 years. He was running the country. He was a king actually. 14 years he was the king. Acting king. Proxy king. But didn't even enter there. Same way. Even though Ravana captured Sita, Sita did not enter into the palace. She stayed outside. You see? Same way. This frustration with which you live, the pangs that you experience, that I am stuck in the samsara. I am captivated by Kamsa. I have no choice, as it were, to do anything other than what he does. That feeling, which is what we call as mumukshatva. That feeling of pain of samsara. Irritation with living in limitation. Now, once you have that, even though your qualities and all that which emerges out of that ethical good, so-called, worldly wise, I'm saying. Worldly wise good. Is it good? We don't mean in terms of absolute goodness. We are talking in terms of worldly. Yeah, he is a very good person, sir, we say. Like that. Even in such a person, some qualities will emerge. But the problem is what? As soon as it emerges, the weakness of Vasudeva or the fear Vasudeva had towards Kamsa, he goes and gives it there. He swallows the whole thing. He destroys it. Destroy. 6 qualities. All the 6 were destroyed completely by Kamsa. And that effort of producing that 6, effort to have that generated those good qualities, not easy. But then your ego swallows the whole thing. So that intellect and that mind has to feel that frustration. When you feel such frustration, which is what is referred as mumukshatva, then providence will come and activate the purushartha. Self-effort will come, which you will not even know whether it is activated or not activated. You are totally oblivious to it, but that is activated there first. That is conceived first. That is delivered first. You see, Balarama was born first, 1 year elder to Krishna. So, he is already born. After the birth of self-effort comes the birth of the divine. So, self-effort and then birth. This is the significance of Krishna's birth. Look at that. Whole thing, whole drama. And that entire drama is only for what? Now, only to depict what is happening in our life and explaining how we can spiritually grow. Why How we arrive at all these things? Because we assume that Krishna's birth is this avatar. It's the birth of the divine being. It is a birth of the self-knowledge inside me. So, if I have to say, how can I give birth to Krishna? Can I give birth to Krishna? Is it? Yes, possible. You can give birth to Krishna. Everyone is capable of giving birth to Krishna conscious. Not Iskana. They'll sue you. But that Krishna consciousness can be triggered. That can be given birth. But for that, what we have to do, we have to understand where we are right now. So the effort has to be for what? Effort is to develop it. Develop that quality. When you develop that quality, invariably what will happen? Your other attachments and your other egos and other negativities and all that external pressures, the weaknesses that you have towards the other will swallow this. The weakness that you have towards that, like Vasudeva had a fear for Kamsa, we have that weakness towards the selfish, egocentric desires, attachments, etc. When you have those things, what will happen? It will swallow. Just because it has swallowed your first effort, don't keep quiet. What do you have to do? Do again. Only then it is interesting to see it. Otherwise, it's like anyway you are in the prison. Now, who asked you to get 6 children first of all? As though we think, Vasudeva and Devaki had no other job. In the prison, what else to do? Only entertainment. Producing is not an entertainment. Remember, it is painful. It is conscious effort. Effort that you put in to develop what? Give birth to these qualities. So these two will give birth to that quality. But then your ego will swallow it. Don't get disheartened. Do again. And don't say 6 times, sir. I will also do 6 times. We have no idea. How many times we don't know. You have to keep doing again and again and again and again and again. Again and again, Kamsa will come and kill and go. Kamsa will come and kill. Come, kill. Go on killing. Nothing can be done. A point will come where even without your knowledge, something which is swatantra, which is independent in you will get triggered. Something will get triggered in you. What is independently existing, sir? This activation of your viveka will happen, which is independent, which is what we call in this very specific, if you want, it is the self-effort, Purushartha. The activation of Purushartha, will you know? Immediately you will not know. You will recognize only what? The birth of the divine. That you can register. This is difficult to register because it is independent. For you to experience, to know that after the divine birth of that Krishna, he will tell you, Balrama is already born, you don't worry. Your 7th child is protected by me, you don't have to worry about it. So who is protecting that? Who is giving it? We have no clue. So in that process, either case it is a loss only. Remember, whether Kamsa killing the child or the miscarriage, either case it is what? Loss only. Isn't it? As far as they are concerned, it is loss. But this loss is totally different from the first 6 laws. The whole nature is very different here. The whole dynamics is different in this case. So that is what we see here as Krishna's God, as child. As a child, as birth. And what is the significance of birth of Krishna? What is the birth? This is the birth of Krishna. One part. I have seen two aspects today. Birth of Krishna and the significance of it, and the Vadapatra side. Krishna on the leaf. What is the meaning of that? Why that is a fascinating one. That the banyan tree leaf, all other leaves, when they get dried, they change color. This leaf will not change color. And all that you have to do is just sprinkle water. It will come back. As though it never dies. You see, it looks like that actually. That the people tree, the banyan tree leaf, it will not. The life juice seem to exist always in that. Just needs a little trigger, that's enough. It will come back. That is the changelessness, what he is referring to. Krishna, God, Brahman, is lying where in that flowing samsara, there is one leaf. Look at the size of, not just the ocean we are talking about. We are talking about the pralaya water. Pralaya water is, we don't even know what is the meaning of that pralaya water. Imagine, whole thing to get covered, how much of water, what force it must have. On that, yes, it is flowing. It is just there. That how, why he is putting that leaf there? Why this banyan tree? And then they say, why they have chosen banyan? That's the same tree which was chosen by Shiva also. As the Lakshanamurti, when he is sitting under that same tree only. Under the tree only he is sitting and giving this knowledge. Nowadays, there's a good study they have done now. They say the students who sit under the tree and study get a better concentration capacity. Their ability to understand, their ability to concentrate is 30% more or something like that they have studied. I say the reasoning is given there. The reasoning these people give is because of oxygen. This is so they can go. They can't go anywhere else. Right? Come back to this basic principles only because that is their frame of work. We can't say wrong or anything. Because the purification, when the blood gets purified, more oxygen, more purification, more concentration, more. That's all. Brain works much better. That's the connection they get. But these people go something different. They say there is something more to it. Particularly that rule is applicable to any tree. Even if you sit under mango tree, it's the same thing. They say banyan tree has something unique. Because it doesn't die. Even the leaf. Other leaves, when it gets dry, you can make out it's a dry leaf. Banyan leaf, it's not easy to recognize whether it is dry or not. Because it looks same. Which means it is relatively changeless. Relatively changeless. Changeless. Relatively doesn't die. So even the whole world is dead, this banyan tree is not going to die. On that he rides, on that he stands, on that he is, that carries this. Well, we understand that he is. It is possible for us to connect to this only through the changeless. So, what is changeless in constantly changing in our life? When you concentrate on that changeless entity in you, there you will see what? Krishna lying there and sucking his thumb. And it is so interesting. They didn't say Vishnu lying. That's a beauty. See, that side Shiva means, this side they should have said Vishnu, no. Child Vishnu. What is your problem? Same thing, no. No. The tradition says no. It is only Krishna, not Vishnu. It is Krishna child is lying there. So fascinating. Krishna is the one. Why? Because that's the meaning of Krishna. Akarshana. The one who is attracted, the one who attracts, the one who pulls you in that direction. What is pulling you is the self. The infinite is what is pulling you in any direction that you go in life. Whatever you do, you are moving only towards that infinite. Want money? How much money you want? Infinite money you want. Unlimited. You say, I want knowledge. How much knowledge you want? Infinite knowledge you want. Unlimited knowledge. Unlimited power. Unlimited attention. Unlimited. Everything should be unlimited to you. Infinite. That infinite is what is attracting you. And how is that infinite? Do you know that infinite? No, you cannot know that infinite. Why? It is not known to you. That's why it is dark. That's why Krishna is dark. But the darkness of Krishna is not the darkness of ignorance. You see, darkness is not that. It is the darkness such as that of the moving cloud. The monsoon cloud is black, no? That black is different. See, buffalo also black. This black is different. That black is what now? It is so cool. That monsoon clouds, they flow. It's so cool and refreshing. Whereas darkness is also black. But this darkness is fearsome. It is not appreciated. It is chilling. We are not talking about chill. We are talking about cool. What is the difference? Krishna's darkness is of this nature. But it is dark. Why it is dark? You don't know. Why? You cannot know. You can never understand that. It is in the infinite. Because it is infinite, you can't understand it. By definition, you can't understand. Therefore, how do you represent it? Represent it by dark, black. That's how he is given. Even Rama, they say, is also dark. Lakshmana is the fellow who is fair. Fair and handsome. Lakshmana. Rama is not that. Rama is of same way. Bharata is also that, Balrama. Balrama also like that. Krishna is dark. But Balrama is very fair. Very interesting way even they give that color to these people. Because Lakshmana there represents what? Lakshmana represents your buddhi, your intellect. Rama is the self. Lakshmana is the intellect. The self goes along with that, intellect goes. As long as the jiva is standing protected between the intellect and the self safe. That's how they were walking. How they were going? Rama goes first, Sita goes next, Lakshmana goes last. This is how they go. Wherever they walk in that same direction. Rama will go first, Sita follows, and then Lakshmana. Why? What is that? That Jiva should be protected by two things. What is divine and this. How that protection will happen? Only when Sita is following Rama. If she starts walking away, then Lakshmana will come and warn. If she throws Lakshmana also out, what is it now? Ravana will come and capture the Jiva, the individual. This is Ramayana. Same way here. Krishna is dark. Why? He is representing Brahman, the self, which is unknown to us. But this unknown is not like other unknown, scary. No. This is so attractive. That's why he is given the name of Krishna. Akarshana. He is so captivating. Vishnu is all pervading, that's how he is. He is not so attractive. Krishna is that's why Prabhupada said even Vishnu is only Amsa of Krishna actually. Krishna is the original. He goes to that extent. Correct. Attraction is there only in him. Vishnu is not having that attraction. He doesn't attract. Who attracts is only Krishna is an attraction. That is that Padapatra Sara. The birth. So we saw a child. We take Krishna as child and worship. Why we take God as child? Then we saw the way the whole understanding of their life is regressive. We go backwards. So when we go backwards, we try to give meaning to their events. We try to interpret their life events. Take it as life events itself is also valuable. How it captivates your attention, it retains your attention and interest. That keeping your attention and interest on God is called bhakti. So the story itself will give you that bhakti. Devotion will come. This is one group. Another group says, no, it is not just the story, that story has a meaning behind it. And they give. When they give meaning, it will fit in, but sometimes it may appear to our eyes that we are far-fetching certain interpretations. But doesn't matter, it fits in. Every bit of it will fit. There is not a single thing you will find is missing. I have come up to the birth of Krishna. Right? I have not come post. You see, what is this, what is that, and all that. All that I am leaving it to your imagination. Right? I am not going to give all that. I have given up to birth. Enough. If I go more than that, it will become a problem. More we will see in the